Our Holy Father, Pope Benedict XVI, has given us a year of grace. It's called the Year of Faith. You may have noticed the banner that was hanging just as you entered the doors of the church by the baptismal font, announcing this Year of Faith. It officially begins this Thursday, October the 11th. Thursday, October the 11th is the 50th anniversary of the opening of the Second Vatican Council. 50 years already since Vatican II began. And this Thursday is also the 20th anniversary since the first publication of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. For 20 years now, we've had the gift of that catechism. So the Year of Faith opens this Thursday, October the 11th, and it closes next year on November the 24th, 2013, the Feast of Christ the King. And all during this Year of Faith, here and throughout the world, we have the opportunity to grow in our knowledge of our faith, to grow in our practice of our faith, and to grow in our readiness to share our faith with others. What a great year is about to begin. A few days ago, we had a feast day of a saint who provides us with a wonderful prelude to this Year of Faith. And his name is St. Francis of Assisi, one of everybody's favorites. And his feast is October the 4th. He's wonderful with this Year of Faith. He's wonderful with this October, which is dedicated to the respect for all human life. He's wonderful for this Sunday, which is Respect Life Sunday, because Francis of Assisi loved all life. He respected all life. Oftentimes, when Francis of Assisi would meet a mother who was expecting a child, he would genuflect before her out of reverence for the life that she carried within her. Francis of Assisi often in the springtime would go barefoot because as the new life was coming to be in the ground, he didn't want to disturb it, so he would walk lightly, barefooted. Francis of Assisi loved animals. And it was in that spirit that yesterday I blessed pets here at St. Joseph's, out on the Electric Boulevard side of our church. People brought their pets, and we did a little service of blessing, and then I was introduced to each little animal or big animal. I learned their names, although some of them I've been blessing for years and years and years, and gave each one a personal blessing. St. Francis of Assisi would love that. He loved all of our creation, all the creation that God has given to us, and he had a deep respect for all life. I was reminded of St. Francis of Assisi with today's first reading from the very first book of the Bible in the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, chapter 2. And there's Adam, all by himself. And he's lonely. And so God creates the animals, the birds in the sky, the animals of the earth. And the reading says that God had all the animals come up to Adam, and he gave each one of them a name. Sort of like our pet blessing yesterday. But Adam gave each one a name. But Adam was still lonely, even with all the animals. And so God, the reading says, put Adam into a deep sleep. And God took a rib from the side of Adam and created the first woman. And Adam awoke, and God presented Eve to Adam. Notice that was the very first marriage. God gave the human race marriage. And notice how God did this. First book of the Bible, chapter 2. God gave a man and a woman to each other in marriage. And God said, "It is not right for the man to be alone. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." Notice in the gospel today from Mark, Jesus quotes that very passage from Genesis chapter 2, and he gives it even more strength. He says, "For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. And what God has joined together, human beings must not divide." Jesus raised that gift of God, of marriage, to a sacrament. And in that sacredness, the family of Jesus Christ is born. Husband and wife love each other with unity and fidelity in love, and they cooperate with God, the author of life, in giving birth to children. And that's how the gospel finishes today. Children come in before Jesus, and people want Jesus to bless those kids, and Jesus does. What wonderful readings for this Respect Life Month, this Respect All Human Life Sunday. Cardinal Joseph Bernardin was the Archbishop of Chicago. He died in 1996. A very good man, very holy man, very bright man. And Cardinal Bernardin was the one who crafted an expression that we're still using today, talking about a consistent ethic of human life. A consistent ethic of human life. Now, the Cardinal was teaching us, as the Church has always believed, that human life does not begin at our birth. Human life begins 9 months before our birthday. Now, the kids love this. We older people maybe are a little more uncomfortable with it, with this statement that you actually are 9 months older than your birthday says. But it's true. Our lives began at conception, 9 months before we were born. And we reverence all human life, unborn and born. And Cardinal Bernardin, with this phrase, a consistent ethic of human life, is telling us we need to respect life in the womb, unborn human life. We also need, out of respect, to create a world that will be consistent with that great respect for all human life, into which these babies are going to be born into. He is teaching us that a consistent ethic of human life respects every life in the womb and every life that is born. That we can't be insensitive to the poor, to the hungry, to the homeless. To the elderly, to the sick, to people that are marginalized, to the immigrant, to the imprisoned, to anyone. We need to be respectful of all human life. We can't get calloused towards war and terrorism and violence. All human life is worthy of our respect from the moment that it begins at conception in the womb to the moment that God calls us home at the end of our lives here on earth. A consistent ethic of respect for all human life. Mother Teresa, Blessed Teresa of Calcutta, received the Nobel Peace Prize, and in front of the whole world, she said that the biggest obstacle to peace in our world is abortion. And why did she say that? Because if we are not respectful of human life at its very beginning in the womb, there's going to be a ripple effect to all the other aspects of human life that would follow. We have to get the life issues right as our foundation, or everything else begins to topple. I am finding myself getting more and more concerned, as I'll bet you do too, with all the political advertising on television. I can't wait till Election Day for lots of reasons. But how many of those ads to me are looking more like reality TV than they are in giving me material for reflection and decision-making in conscience? I'm getting concerned that our decisions that we make at election time need to be made from our consciences and not simply on other things that are not foundational. We have so many important things, but there's a priority to what is important. And right at the foundation is the issue of human life in all of its aspects, from conception to natural death and everything in between. We have a lot to think about and pray about, but we need to make a judgment that comes from principles of conscience. And I would say to you today that protecting unborn human life is the premier civil right of our own day. After Mass today, our pro-life ministry has roses for you in the gathering area, asking for a donation of $2 or more if you would like. All the proceeds go to Birthright here in Lorain County that help mothers and their children in need. Those roses, what beautiful flowers they are. But you have to handle them very carefully, don't you? There are thorns in the stems. And so, like life, we have to handle life very carefully and respectfully. But notice the blossom of the rose. How beautiful that is. How beautiful is the gift of human life. And so as we open this year of faith, as we remember St. Francis of Assisi, let's ask his prayers of intercession for us, as well as the prayers of Mary Immaculate, the patroness of our great United States, that God give each one of us the grace that we need to live, to work, to act with wisdom, with prudence, with courage. Amen.